Hello friends, welcome to the channel Physics by IITians.
Welcome to the lecture number 9 of Statistical Mechanics. Today we shall learn about Grand Canonical Ensemble, and this is very important lecture for solving problems related to this topic. So we will understand what do you mean by Canonical Ensemble, what are the thermodynamic quantities, what will be the partition function, and at last we will solve some problems that has already come in previous year so that we can understand the topic thoroughly. So let's start. The grand canonical ensemble is different from canonical ensemble. So in the last lecture, I have discussed about canonical ensemble. So the canonical ensemble which we studied in the previous lecture is applicable to systems which are thermally interacting with a heat bath but are physically isolated. Okay, they can only transfer the energy, but transfer of particles was forbidden. Now, we wish to study the class of systems which are open in the sense of particles freely moving between the system and the heat path. So, if the last lecture we have seen that suppose this is the canonical system, and here this system, that is our system is E, it is within a thermodynamic equilibrium at particular temperature T with a heat bath, and system was kind of isolated system. Now suppose you are opening the boundary, and the particles or the particles inside the system now can freely move between the heat bath and the system. And that is the difference between the grand canonical ensemble and canonical ensemble. So what are the physical examples? Like an electron gas has electrons being absorbed and released by the walls. Same things happen for a photon. Like suppose a photon gas where the number of photons is not fixed. To study such systems, we introduce an ensemble where only the volume is fixed and the energy and the number of particles can vary. Such an ensemble is called called a grand canonical ensemble. Okay, friends. So here look at this picture, that is the energy Q is can also be exchanged, and the delta n, that is the number of particles, can also be exchanged, that is the surrounding it can in and some of the energy can be out. Similarly, the number of particles can be in, number of particles can be out. So this is the configuration of and grand canonical ensemble. So before learning more about grand canonical ensemble, do you know that you can register here and you can get free test in our portal, and also you can join our test series of 15 tests only cost rupees 699. So friends, you can surely join here for the free test, or if you wish to join our payment based test, also you can join by clicking the link given in the description box. So what we are studying, that a system where the walls are not rigid here, so that the number of particles uh, can be exchanged with the surrounding system, that is the heat bath. So here we consider a system that is characterized by energy, volume, and number of particles, that is E, V, N, interacting with a much larger heat bath, that is characterized by EB, VB, NB. However, the system can exchange energy with the heat bath through the walls. Okay, so the number of particles can be exchanged, the energy can be exchanged through the walls. In addition, the walls of the system are supposed to be porous so that the particles can also pass from the system to the heat bath and vice versa. So the heat bath is assumed to be so large that any exchange of energy and the number of particles with our system of interest, that is the smaller system, will not have any effect on that heat bath. So the heat bath system is so much large that the smaller system which we want to look into, that is not going to affect the heat bath system, but heat bath system can surely affect our system of interest, that is the smaller system having energy E, V, N. The only difference here that N can also be exchanged with the system and the heat bath. So let us take the system of interest and the heat bath taken together, assumed to be a closed system, and such that the total energy, that is E total, is fixed, that is E plus EV, and N plus NB is also fixed, that is NT, where E, N are the energy and number of particles of the system of interest, and EB, NB are the energy and number of particles of the heat bath. So ET and NT are the total energy and the total number of particles respectively of the system and the heat bath taken together, and they are supposed to be fixed. So the total number of microstates of the combined system is omega equals to sum of n integration over omega s, which is a function of E and N, into omega B, which is a function of EB into NB into DE, where omega S is the number of microstates for the system of interest. Omega B is the number of microstates for the heat bath. So the integral is the sum over the all possibilities of various amounts of energy exchanges between the system and the heat bath, and the sum over n particles represents various particle exchanges between the system and the heat bath. Okay, so the amount of energy exchange is given by this integration, and the number of particle exchanges is given by the summation, and we have taken this in energy is continuous or continuum energy. So suppose we take E equals to 0 and N equals to 0. So it would correspond to a situation where the system transfers all its energy and the particles to the heat bath, because system has no energy, no particle, and the total system is now closed, and this can be treated in the microcanonical ensemble. Okay, so now the number of microstates corresponding to the system having energy E and number of particles can be given as omega En can be written as omega S into omega B, or in terms of ET, that is the total energy, omega B into ET minus E into NB can be written as NT minus N. Okay, so whenever the E equals to 0, N equals to 0, the system will resemble to the microcanonical system. And earlier we have already written that the total energy, that is E total, is equals to E plus EB. So EB can be written as ET minus E, and NB can be written as NT minus N. And we can modify our formula for the number of microstates like this way. Okay, friends. Next, so this omega B, that is a function of ET minus E and NT minus N in terms of the entropy of the heat bath, using the Boltzmann definition of entropy, which is S equals to K ln omega, can be written as omega equals to omega S, which is a function of En, that is the number of microstates within the system of interest, into e to the power SB by K into e to the power minus E minus mu n by kt. The last time in the canonical ensemble, this mu n term was not here, but here, due to the exchange of energy as well as the number of particles, the overall energy is affected by in energy also, by number of particles also. So that is the main difference between the canonical ensemble and grand canonical ensemble. So what does it mean from the system's point of view? So it will appear as if microstates of the system with different energies and number of particles have different probability of occurrence. Okay. So the total number of microstates of the combined system can be written as omega equals to sum of n, that is all over the n particles, into integration over all the energy dE, omega s into e to the power sb by k into e to the power minus E minus mu n by kt. So do you understand the philosophy of the equation? The philosophy is the number of microstate of the system is directly dependent to the entropy of the heat bath, that is SB, and the number of the particles and the energy also and the temperature of the system also. Temperature of the heat bath also. All are affecting to give you the total number of microstates of the system. So the probability of the system having energy E and N particles should be equal to the number of microstates corresponding to the system having energy E, that is omega S, and N particles, that is omega S a function of E and N, divided by the total number of microstates, that is P can be written as omega S into this quantity divided by total number of microstates, that is we have already done here. So what will be that? The probability of the system having energy E and number of particles N can be written as omega S, which is a function of E and N, into e to the power minus of E minus mu N divided by KT divided by Z. In the earlier canonical ensemble probability, this mu N term was not there. So Z, what is Z? Yes, Z is called the grand canonical partition function, and it is sum of Z, sum of N, integration over omega S, which is a function of E, into e to the power minus E minus mu N by KT dE is called the grand partition function. So how this grand partition function is different from canonical partition function? Here the sum of N term is included here due to the number of exchange of particles, and also in the exponential term there is another term that is plus mu N, and this mu is called the chemical potential of the system. And the meaning of the chemical potential, that if there is an exchange of number of particles, how the energy will be affected, or how the exchange of the number of particles can affect the system energy. Or suppose you are adding one particle, how the energy of the system will be changed. The physical interpretation of mu is the same, that it will give you the change of the energy whenever there is a change in the number of particles. Okay, hope you understand what is the meaning of grand canonical partition function and how does it come like this way. So for the classical system, we define the number of microstates of a system in terms of accessible phase space volume, that is omega S, which is a function of E and S, can be written as integration over E dp into dq divided by delta, where delta is the small phase space uncertainty. Okay, that is for one dimensional it is h, for two dimensional it is h square, for three dimensional it is h cube, or you can write it in terms of h cross also. So this integral dp dq represent the integral over all positions and momenta of all particles over a constant energy surface with energy E, and delta is the smallest phase volume of 1 microstate. So the probability of the system having energy E and N particles can be written as P is the number of favorable events divided by total number of events. So the total, that is 1 by delta integration over E dp dq e to the power minus of E minus mu N by KT divided by sum over N, that is the sum over all the particles, into 1 by delta integration over dp dq e to the power minus E minus mu N by KT. So this will give you the probability of the system having energy E and having particle N. So this is for the classical system. Please remember the formula, or if you understand the formula, you don't have to remember it. This is the number of favorable events, that is the number of systems or number of microstates that having energy level E and number of particles N divided by the total number of microstates that are possible within the phase space. Okay, so what will be the density function? The density function which actually captures the dynamics of the system or dynamics of the particle in the phase space, that can be written as rho, that is a function of not P and Q for the canonical ensemble case, but here also the function of P, Q, N. So in the interview, if teacher asks you what is the density function difference between the canonical ensemble and grand canonical ensemble, you have to surely tell them, as the number of particles is also exchanging and it will affect the system, So the density function, it will be also a function of n as well as p and q. Okay. So it can be written as e to the power minus e minus mu n divided by kt divided by sum over n 1 by delta integration of dp dq e to the power minus e minus mu n by kt, or it can be written as e to the power minus of e minus mu n by kt divided by z. So rho, that is a function of pqn into dp dq, gives the probability of the system to have n particles with momenta between p and p plus dp and position between q and q plus dq. So the grand partition function, we have already defined that z equals to sum of n equals to 0 to infinite 1 by delta integration of e to the power minus e minus mu n by kt into dp dq, or if here, look here, this dp dq inside, the n is independent of dp dq. So we can keep this outside of the integration and we can separate this term over, if that is sum over n equals to 0 to infinite e to the power mu n by kt into 1 by delta into integration of e to the power minus e by kt into dp dq. Okay. So please remember this formula for the classical system, the grand partition function. So the grand partition function can thus be represented as a sum over canonical partitions with different number of particles. Look here, this was the same partition function. If you think this, only the independence was not there, but all the other formula, all the other terms exactly resembles with the canonical partition function. But the extra term here, that is sum of n equals to 0 to infinite e to the power mu n by kt, and it does represent that the sum over the canonical function with the different number of particles. Okay. So z equals to sum of n equals to 0 to infinite e to the power mu b whole to the power n into zn, where zn denotes the canonical partition function. So the grand canonical function, if you find out the canonical partition function, all you have to do, you have to include this term in the canonical partition function, the nth term. So you will get the grand canonical partition function. And this term, that is e to the power mu b, is called fugacity and it can be represented as z. Okay. So if you are going to find out any average, thermal average of any quantity A, what will be the formula? The formula will be A average for any quantity in the grand canonical ensemble, that will be sum over n equals to 0 to infinite 1 by delta integration over A, which is a function of P, Q, N, rho, which is a function of P, Q, N into dp dq. Okay. So rho is giving you the probability density. So probability density, the normalization factor is already included within rho. Okay. So it can be also written as 1 by z sum of n equals to 0 to infinite 1 by delta integration over a e to the power minus e minus mu n divided by kt into dp dq. Just remember this one. This is a very important formula for average, finding any average value. Suppose you are going to find out the average value of any spin, the average value of numbers, number of particles, the average value of displacement, the average value of velocity. Okay. So any quantity can be can be asked to find out. So you have to apply this formula. Okay. So if the system, now this was for the classical indistinguishable particles. But if the systems are non-indistinguishable particles, that is the particles can be directly distinguishable. If the system is indistinguishable particles, the system is consisting of indistinguishable particles, the canonical partition function for n particles Zn should be represented by 1 by n factorial into that quantity, that is 1 by delta integration of e to the power minus e by kt dp dq. So for the distinguishable particle, this one is all right. But whenever you are finding out for the indistinguishable particle like gas particles, they are all indistinguishable. What you have to do, you have to take n factorial in the denominator, okay, so that there should be not any Gibbs paradox. Now, average energy in grand canonical ensemble. The average energy E average can be written as 1 by delta 1 by z integration over E into e to the power minus of E minus mu n by kt dp dq. After calculation, you get E average, which you should remember that E average equals to minus del beta of log z plus mu n average. In the canonical ensemble, this mu n average term was not present. But here, the mu n average term is present as well as this term, that is minus del beta of log z. So the above relation has a very simple interpretation. The first term on the right side, that this one arises because of the heat exchange between the system and the heat bath, okay, and it is identical to the average energy in the canonical ensemble. The chemical potential is the increase in the energy of the system when one particle is added to it. So the n average particles being added to the system increases the energy mu into n average, because the chemical potential, that is mu, it is the increase in the energy of the system when one particle is added. So whenever there are n average particles are adding, so the system energy will increase by mu into n average. Thus the second term represents the energy, a change in energy of the system due to exchange of particles. The first one representing the exchange in energy due to the exchange of heat. The second one is representing the change of energy due to exchange of particles. So what will be the average number of particles? So n average is 1 by delta 1 by z integration of n e to the power minus e minus mu n by kt dp dq. Or in terms, you can write n in terms of beta and mu, that is n average can be written as 1 by beta del mu of log z, or entropy can be written as S equals to minus k sum over I rho I log pi. So here you put the value for the rho I, that is e to the power minus beta into e minus mu n divided by z, and after simplification you get S value as beta k E average minus mu b beta k n average plus k log z average, k log z. So from this equation, that is beta k E average mu b beta k n average and k log z, okay, so S, if you multiply it by t, you are left with ts equals to k average E average, ts equals to E average minus mu into n average plus log z, because beta equals to 1 by kt. So this equation can be rewritten as E average minus ts minus mu into n average equals to minus kt log z. So the quantity, that is phi, which can be defined as u minus ts minus mu n, is called the grand potential or Landau potential or Landau free energy. Okay, this term. So this, thus in statistical mechanics, this grand potential can be written as phi equals to E average minus Ts minus mu n average, that is minus kt log z. So this is phi or grand potential. You should remember this formula. You can get questions from this formula. So the particle number fluctuations, the particle number fluctuation can be written same like the energy fluctuation, that is delta n can be written as root of n minus n average whole square into average of that quantity, that is root of n square average minus n average square. So first take the square of n, then take the average, and here first take the average, then take the square, and then subtract each other and take the root of the subtraction. So the square of the number of fluctuation, that is delta n square, can be written as n square average minus n average square, which can be written as 1 by beta del mu of n average, or it can be written as kt del mu of n average. The relative fluctuation, that is delta n square divided by n average square, can be written as kt divided by n average square into del mu of n average. Just put the formula here. So in terms of the average volume per particle, that is small v, which is v by n average, can be written as, this formula can be written as, in terms of the average volume, that is delta n square divided by n average square, can be written as minus kt by v into del v by del mu, where small v is the average volume, that is capital V divided by n average. Okay. So delta n square divided by n average square is kt by v into small kt, where this kt is the isothermal compressibility, and that is denoted by minus 1 by v into del v del p at constant t. So this average quantity particle in density, that is n average, we can also define that n average equals to, or small n bar equals to, n average divided by v, that is the average number of particles per unit volume. The particle density fluctuation will be given as delta small n whole square, or it can be written as n square average divided by v square minus n average square divided by v square, or that is delta n square divided by v square. We can write a similar relation of relative particle density fluctuations, that is delta n square divided by n bar square equals to kt by v into kt, that is isothermal compressibility. So here in terms of the capital N, that is the fluctuations, and here the average particle density fluctuation. This is the number fluctuation, n number of particles. Here the particle density fluctuation, that is capital N divided by V, and the similar relation like the previously. So we see here that the particle density fluctuation which spontaneously happen because of interaction with a heat bath are intimately related to the thermodynamic property of the system, that is isothermal compressibility. So this kind of interaction is happening due to the thermodynamic property of the system, that is isothermal compressibility. So if in the exam it can be asked that how the particle density fluctuations are related to the isothermal compressibility, it is directly proportional to the isothermal compressibility. Or you can be given the isothermal compressibility KT value, T value, V value. You can be instructed to find out the particle density fluctuation, and you can just apply this formula. You can find out the particle density fluctuation for that grand canonical system. Okay. This here I have given a graph how the particle number are fluctuating with respect to time or in terms of time. Okay. So the fluctuation in particles number over time, and this is another, suppose you are taking the average number, particle number over the excess chemical potential. So these are the different plots, that is the calculated average particle number versus target with the excess chemical potential, how this particle fluctuation will be happening in terms of the excess chemical potential, in terms of the time. So these graphs are given for you so that you can visualize the system. Okay. So the relation between canonical and grand canonical ensemble, just suppose we are taking the infinitely large system. So relative particle fluctuation in the thermodynamic limit, what will be that? So for V tends to infinite, N tends to, N average tends to infinite, the relative fluctuation, that is limit V tends to infinite, delta N by N average will become proportional to limit V tends to infinite 1 by root V, and that will be 0 because V is approaching to infinity. So in the thermodynamic limit, these fluctuations are negligible. There is no fluctuating at all. So the number of particles remains practically constant. If the number of particles is almost constant, one can also safely use canonical ensemble to describe the system where the particle number is fixed. So we conclude that in the thermodynamic limit, that is V tends to infinite, canonical and grand canonical ensemble should give similar result. And last time we also have seen that in the thermodynamic equilibrium, if the system is canonical, it will give similar result to the microcanonical system. Okay, because there were no energy fluctuation, and here in this case there is no number of particles fluctuation. So let us take an example, a previous year question, so that you understand and solve this kind of questions efficiently. So the question has already come in jest, that is, consider a system of particles in 3 dimensions with momentum P and energy E, that is Cp, C being a constant. The system is maintained at inverse temperature beta, volume V, and chemical potential mu. What is the grand partition function of the system? So the options are exponential of e to the power beta mu 8 pi v by beta c h cube, e to the power beta mu 6 pi v by beta c h square, e to the power beta mu 6 pi v by beta c h cube, e to the power beta mu 8 pi v by beta c h square. So the energy has been given. What we have to find out? First find out the partition function, then multiply it by e to the power mu by kt or e to the power beta mu. Okay. So for the canonical partition function calculation, we need to find out this integration, that is 1 by h cube into integration over e to the power minus beta h dpx dpy dpz dx dy dz, where beta h is the Hamiltonian of the system or E of the system, that is given as P. Now you may have a question that why we are taking 3 dimension, because we are taking 3 dimension because it is not here also it is mentioned in 3 dimension, but if it is not mentioned, it is also we should take 3 dimension, because only when they are mentioning it is for 1 dimension, then only take 1 dimension. Otherwise always you should take 3 dimension case. Okay, this is much more practical. So here find out the integration. You put the value of E, that is PC. So you get V by H cube integration over 0 to infinite dp dx dpy dpz, which can be written as 4 pi p square dp into e to the power minus beta pc, and dx into dy into dz is volume of the system that you take out of the integral. I mean you find out the integral, because this integration from within the volume, so it will give you v, and this v by h cube you take out of the integral. In the integral there is only the p square quantity, that is you can write it as 4 pi v by h cube into integration over 0 to infinite p square into e to the power minus beta pc into dp. Now how to find out this integral? Look here, if you don't take this one into consideration, suppose I am writing here the 4 pi and v divided by h cube, this is the Laplace transform, and Laplace transform of x to the power n or p to the power n. So what will be the Laplace transform of x to the power n? Laplace transform of x to the power n is, or t to the power n can be written as n factorial divided by s to the power n plus 1, where s is e to the power sx. Now here e to the power sx is e to the power minus beta pc, where p is x and s is minus beta s is beta c. So t to the p square, that is 2 factorial, because n is 2 here. So 2 factorial divided by s to the power n plus 1, s is beta c. So beta c whole to the power 2 plus 1, that is cube. Okay, so you find it out as 4 pi v into 2 factorial, that is 2. So 8 pi v divided by beta hc whole cube. So the grand canonical partition function Zn is exponential e to the power mu by kt into Zn. So you can write it as exponential of e to the power mu by kt into 8 pi v by beta hc whole cube, or you get the answer as A. So A is the correct answer. Okay, so what you have to do here, you have to find out the canonical partition function first. You have to find out the system, whether it's a classical system or quantum mechanical system. Then you, for the grand canonical partition function, just take the multiply the factor that exponential or e to the power minus beta, e to the power plus beta into mu, not minus. Minus only will be in the energy term. Okay, so mu by kT is plus term, positive factor. So these are the chart for the Laplace transform, that you may also can get some other values, and you should remember the Laplace transform also. There are questions coming from the topic Laplace transform, so please note it down for your convenience. Okay, so let's take another example, that consider a grand ensemble of a system of one-dimensional non-interacting classical harmonic oscillator, each of frequency omega. Which of the following equation is correct? The angular bracket, this one, that is average dot, indicate the ensemble average. NET represent the number of particles, energy, temperature respectively. Kb is the Boltzmann constant. So you have to find out the grand canonical ensemble system of one dimension non-interacting classical, the energy average is how much. Okay, so E average is N kBT by 2, E average is N average kBT by 2, E average is N kB, E average is N average kB. You can think of this is a grand canonical ensemble question, because this has been written as grand ensemble, but this is a very simple question, and from equipartition theorem you can easily find out the average energy. Okay, so here it is has been already mentioned that the system is one dimensional and non-interacting. So the one-dimensional system and harmonic oscillator, so kinetic energy plus potential energy, that is total energy, can be written as E equals to px square by 2m plus half k x square. So from the equipartition theorem, we can write E equals to half kbt plus half kbt. So this is kbt. So E average due to all the n number of particles is n average into kbt. That is option D is the correct answer. So hope you understand. So in the next video, we shall start about quantum statistics, and we will solve some previous year questions with detailed explanation of physics. Hope you understand statistical mechanics. Thank you. If you find this video helpful, please do share our videos, like our videos, and also subscribe to the channel and join to evaluate our performance in the test link. Okay, thank you.